Namaste, welcome my dear students, friends. In today's class, we will be discussing about the software engineering. So, in this particular topic, I will cover the definition for software engineering, what are the various types of SDLC. Out of the various types of SDLC, I will be going to discuss a very important SDLC type, that is the waterfall model, and what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of waterfall model. So let us start the class. So first of all, the definition for software engineering. So what is the software engineering definition? So if you want, you can note down the definition. Okay, software engineering is an engineering branch related to the evaluation of software product using well-defined scientific principles, techniques and procedures. The result of the software engineering is an effective and reliable software product. So this is the definition for software engineering. This is the definition for software engineering. So in this particular definition, I will just mark it scientific principles, techniques and procedures. So what is the scientific principles? Okay, so here the software engineering means what? It's an engineering branch. It's an engineering branch. So where you will be learning about how to develop a software. How to develop a software. Okay, so that is the main focus in this particular definition. Okay, so you are going to develop a particular software. To develop that particular software, you are following the scientific principles, techniques and procedures. Okay, the result of the software engineering is an effective and reliable software product. Okay, the result that you are getting finally is an effective and reliable software product. Okay, so coming back right now, scientific principles, techniques and procedures. What does it mean? So what is that scientific principles, techniques and procedures? That is nothing but your SDLC. SDLC. So I will discuss in details about the SDLC. So what is the full form of the SDLC? Software development life cycle. Okay, so the full form for SDLC is software development life cycle. So what is the scientific principles that you will be using to develop a particular software? That is the SDLC. This is the scientific principle you need to follow to develop a particular software. SDLC, software development life cycle. Okay, so this particular process you will be following. SDLC process you will be following. This is the scientific process you will be following to develop a particular software. Okay, so after following this scientific principle, this SDLC, what is the final goal? The final goal or the final result that you are getting is an effective and reliable software product. That is nothing but you are getting a effective and reliable software product. That means what? You are generating the quality. You are generating the quality of that particular software product. So you understood right now? So you are following the SDLC process, software development lifecycle process, to generate the quality of the software. Okay, so this is the definition for software engineering. So you are following the SDLC, software development lifecycle process, to generate the quality to the software product that you are developing. So let us discuss what do you mean by SDLC. What do you mean by SDLC? SDLC. So as I already said you that SDLC full form is software development life cycle. Okay. So there are this SDLC is nothing but a scientific process to develop a particular software. A scientific process to develop a particular software. So you understood what is SDLC? It's a scientific process to develop a particular software. So see, I'm using the word develop. So are you taking that point? I am using the word develop. So develop, and I will use one more word, manufacture. So what is the difference between the develop and manufacture? Okay, so develop means you can use this particular term in the software. Okay, so you are developing a software. This particular term manufacture, where you can use this particular word manufacture where you are able to touch and feel that particular product. Okay, for example, I will say that I am manufacturing a toy, I am manufacturing a car. Okay, are you understand the difference between? So in terms of software, I cannot say that I am manufacturing a software, I am manufacturing a software. I cannot say like I am developing a software, I am developing a software. Okay, so here where you are not touching and feeling. Okay, so touch and feel is not there. You can use the word develop. So software you cannot touch and feel, so you can say it as you are developing a software. Manufacture, in what case you can say I am manufacturing a car, or I am manufacturing a toy. Okay, so you are able to touch and feel that particular product. So in that particular term you can say that I am manufacturing. So in the software you can say that I am developing a software. Okay, so you understood why you are using the developing. Okay, so coming to our particular topic, SDLC. So SDLC, so you are following a scientific process to develop a particular software. So that process is known as the SDLC, Software Development Life Cycle. Software Development Life Cycle. Okay, so in this particular SDLC, various companies they follow different types of SDLC process to develop a particular software. There are various types of SDLC process. Okay, so like the important, very important type of your SDLC process is the waterfall model. Waterfall model. So likewise you are having the iterative model. So likewise you are having like V model. So likewise you are having the spiral model. Likewise you are having the big bang model. Okay, so lot of SDLC models are there. You can follow any one of the SDLC model to develop that particular software in your software industry. Okay, you can follow. So you can follow the waterfall model, you can follow the iterative model, you can follow the V model, you can follow the spiral model, you can follow the big bang model to develop that particular software. Okay, so where there are various advantages and disadvantages of various models. Various models are having their own advantages and disadvantages. Which model is the best model for developing my particular project? So that is being chosen by a particular software industry depending upon the project, which model they will follow. Okay, so they will have the meeting and discussion. After that they will implement that model to develop that particular software. Okay, so right now I will discuss about the waterfall model. So what is waterfall model? What are its advantages and what are its disadvantages? I will discuss in details right now. Okay. Waterfall model. Okay, so So by the name itself, you will be able to understand what is waterfall model. Waterfall means the water will be falling from where? From the top of the mountain. So it will be falling downwards, right? From the top of the mountain, it will be falling downwards. That means what? In the software terms, you will be using the waterfall model. That means you will be starting from the initial phase, and moving in a stepwise manner until you reach at the bottom. Okay, that means releasing phase of your software. Okay, so initial phase, that waterfall model is stepwise you can say. You will follow the stepwise model. That means water is flowing from top of the mountain to the down. Okay, top of the mountain to the down. That means water is flowing from up to down. So here what it says that waterfall model, you cannot move from bottom to up. You need to follow from top to bottom. That is the model, waterfall model. That falling from the water falling from the mountain. So water falling from the mountain. Okay, so here the water is moving and coming to the bottom. This is the top, water falling from the bottom. So what are the various steps you need to follow to reach to the bottom? That means here you will be when you reach the bottom, that means your product is ready. Your software product is ready. That means you are in the releasing phase. You are in the releasing phase of that particular software. So top is your initial phase. Initial phase of that particular software that you are developing. Okay. So see, first in the waterfall model, you will be having the initial phase. Initial phase. So what is this initial phase? Initial phase is the starting phase of your development of your product. So you call it as a requirement phase also. Okay, requirement. Requirement phase. Okay. So in this particular phase, this is the first phase. You are the starting of the project. So in the first phase, the requirement phase, what you are going to do, you should be responsible. That means a software team who is working on that particular project is responsible for gathering the requirement, the client requirement, the business requirement, and making it in a documented format. The full requirement has to be gathered in the initial phase itself. Okay, that means you call this initial phase of the waterfall model as the requirement phase also, requirement gathering phase. Okay, so you are supposed to gather the requirements, the client requirements, the business requirements, and make it a documented form, which you call it as a SRS. Software requirement specification. That is a documented form of your software that you are going to develop. Then you need to analyze everything. You need to analyze it. Take the client requirement, analyze what you need to do, what you do not need to do. Okay, that analyzing and documenting phase or the requirement gathering phase is called as the first phase of the waterfall model. So when you have completed the first phase of your waterfall model, that means requirement gathering and documenting it and making a SRS document, you will be moving to the next phase of the waterfall model, which you call it as a designing model. The second phase is the design model. Okay, so in the designing phase, you are supposed to go for designing your particular software. So in this particular designing phase, you are supposed to draw the flowchart. You need to draw the diagrams. That means you need to pictorially represent your overall project. Pictorially representation in this particular designing phase. You can use the various designing software, like you can use the license software, your rational rows. You can use the licensed software rational rows, TIONAL rational rows. So you can use this software rational rows where you will be able to design your particular software. That means you are going to design the UML diagrams. You will be drawing the UML diagrams. So you will be drawing the UML diagrams in this particular design phase. Okay, so you can use the rational rows, or you can use the open source software star UML also you can use. You can go for star UML to design your project. Okay, so in this is the second phase of waterfall model. First phase is the requirement gathering, second phase is the designing. Okay, so after the designing has been completed, you will be moving to the next phase of your development cycle. So what is the next phase of the development cycle? After designing has been completed, your implementation phase. Okay, your implementation phase. So in this particular implementation phase, what you are going to do? You are going to implement your project in a by using a high level language. Okay, you may use C language, you may use C++, you may use Python, you may use Java, whatever the high level language you may your project asks, you may use that particular high level language to develop that particular software. Okay, so this is the implementation phase, or you call it as a coding phase also. Okay, so when your implementation phase has been completed, the next phase is your testing phase. Okay, testing phase, very important phase of your software development life cycle process. That is the waterfall model process. Okay, testing phase. Testing. So after your implementation has been completed, your product is near to the completion. Then you need to go for testing your particular product. Okay, implementation coding has been completed, then go for testing. So lot of testing activities you need to follow in a separate class. I'll discuss the various types of testing, what kind of testing is the best testing. Okay, according to your project, I'll discuss in details about the testing. Okay, in some other class. Okay, so your testing of the product has been testing of your software product has been completed. The next phase of your software waterfall model is testing has been completed. Right now the final product is ready. Finally you are going for deployment or releasing in the market. Okay, deployment phase. Okay, so testing completed. The next phase of waterfall model is deployment. You are deploying in the market. That means you are releasing it in the market. You are releasing into to the user in the market. Okay, so this is the deployment phase, the last phase. Okay, so you cannot say the deployment phase as the last phase. Also, you can move to one more other phase. After it has been released in the market, you need to have the maintenance of your particular software that you have released in the market. So finally, your final phase of a waterfall model is maintenance. Okay, the final phase of the waterfall model is maintenance. So you are supposed to give the maintenance to your product. Okay, so this is the waterfall model of SDLC. Okay, this is the waterfall model of the SDLC. So you can observe here, it is moving from the top to the bottom. So one phase completed, second phase started, second phase completed, third phase started, third phase completed, fourth phase completed, fifth phase completed, the final phase. So it is moving from top to bottom. It is moving from top to bottom, like a water is falling from the mountain to the bottom. Okay, so it is moving from top to bottom. So this kind of model is a very useful model in developing a software in a software industry. Okay, it's a very useful model. So this model most of the software industry they follow, but some limitations are there. So what are the limitations? I will discuss right now. Okay, so this is the waterfall model. Okay. So I will discuss about the advantages. What are the advantages of using the waterfall model? So see, waterfall model is a very well defined model. It's a very well defined model. Defined model. It's a very well defined model and a very useful model. Useful and understandable model. Understandable model. Okay. These are the advantages of your waterfall model. It's a very well defined model. It's a very useful model, and it's a very user friendly model. You can say it's understandable by the developer very easily, or it's understandable by the development team very easily, and they can follow the that scientific procedure, that means from the first phase, second phase, third phase, fourth phase, fifth phase, sixth phase, seventh phase. Okay, like that they can follow and they can develop smoothly the software that they are going to develop. So what are the disadvantages? What are the disadvantages? Disadvantages are the waterfall model is a very time consuming model. Time consuming model. It's a very time consuming model. It takes a lot of time. Okay, it takes a lot of time. Okay, it's a reverse engineering is not possible. Okay, reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is not possible. What does it mean? Reverse engineering. That means you have reached to the implementation model. Okay, for example, you have reached to the third phase, designing, then implementation. Third phase you have reached implementation model, implementation phase, and in that you are in that particular phase. Your overall team is in that particular phase, in the third phase of the development process. Okay. So you are in the implementation phase. Right now, the client is having some very good idea, and he just recommends the development team to add some extra features to his particular software. To add some extra features to that particular software. Right now, when the software has moved to the completion of the implementation phase, the feature that has to be added in that particular software is not possible. It's not possible. Okay, so that is the main drawback of the waterfall model. Okay, that means reverse engineering. That means you cannot come back. You cannot come back to the design phase, or you cannot come back to initial phase to add that particular feature in that particular software. Okay, so here what the waterfall model says that you have to gather the information in the initial phase itself. Okay, you need to gather all the information in the initial phase itself. Okay, before moving to the second phase, design phase. So gathering and documenting the client requirement in the initial phase itself. Okay, so that is very important in the waterfall model. If you are in the third phase or fourth phase of waterfall model, you cannot move back and add some extra features according to the client requirement. That is not possible in the waterfall model. That is not possible in the waterfall model, and that is a very major drawback in the waterfall model. Okay, so these are the most important advantages and disadvantages of waterfall model. I think you have understood what is waterfall model, what are its advantages and what are its disadvantages. Okay, so if you we'll be stopping the waterfall model. If you want to understand the other topics of SDLC life cycle, you can just comment me below, and I'll take the the classes and I will make you understand in a very easy way. Okay, so for today's class, so that's it for the today's class. Okay, so we'll meet in the next class. Thank you. Namaste.